In today's elections, I decided that I was going to give a speech on a few different laws that are really important to our state and to me as well. So I wanted to share this presentation with you guys that I did for my immigration studies class. So it's called Dreamers and Their Migration Experience. So there are two different laws that people usually get confused when they hear the word DREAM Act, and there's a federal DREAM Act and there's a California DREAM Act. So the federal DREAM Act is actually something that counts for the entire nation. Of course, the word federal, right? It stands for Development Relief of Development. Okay, it'll come to me. So that's the federal one. And the California one, of course, only applies to California. The California DREAM Act has already passed. And the things that it gives is that it gives people in the United States who are AB 540, and I'm going to talk about that one a little bit, the chance to apply for in-state tuition. So the way that they broke it down was in two different laws, and this was Jerry Brown who passed it. If you guys don't know who Jerry Brown is, I'm very ashamed because we live in California. But the way he passed was AB 130 and AB 131. One of them allows you to apply for grants, and the other one to get tuition in California. And like I said, a lot of people confuse the federal and the California DREAM Act because they have the same name, but one, remember, applies to the entire nation and allows for someone to get a path to citizenship. And the thing that I want you guys to take away is the fact that federal DREAM Act has not yet passed. The California DREAM Act is a law. So remember that law I mentioned a little bit ago? It's called AB 540, and that one was passed a long time ago in 2001. And what this law does is it allows people who are born outside of California, even outside of the country, to pay in-state tuition. So the majority of the people who benefit from AB 540 are actually people who are born outside of the country. Some people who are born outside of the state also benefit from AB 540. And the huge thing about AB 540 is that it allows you to pay in-state tuition in a California state or UC university, as opposed to having to pay out-of-state tuition. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the amount of out-of-state tuition, but it's completely, like, enormous, exponentially greater than the amount of in-state tuition. So this law is really meaningful, and it's also kind of like a blessing for those people who came as minors to the U.S. and were born in a different country but want to go to school here. So what I'm going to display now is just basically the requirements. If you want to apply for AB 540, you have to follow these requirements. So you must have attended high school here. So it's not like you just want to come here out of like, oh, California sounds really exciting, I'm going to go move there. It's for students who have been here, have gone to high school here, but what they want to do is they want the opportunity to go to college at an affordable rate. Who doesn't, right? And so you must register with your school, you must sign an affidavit, prove that you've been to high school here for 3 years, and also that you meet those requirements. And once you've done that, you're going to also say that you're going to file for it and apply for legal residency as soon as possible. So that's what AB 540 does, and it's kind of like a framework for the California DREAM Act, because of course the California DREAM Act came 10 years after AB 540. Okay. So, and the interesting thing about AB 540 is that recently it was almost reappealed. However, the evidence was so compelling that it was a beneficial law that it was able to stay. So on a side note, the fact that it almost got reappealed shows that it's a controversial law. And there's people who are for it, there's other people who are against it. So going again with our theme today, I just want to do a little side note and let you guys know how important it is to get involved in politics and to be informed of laws and take a stand, a position, and realize like how they affect you. Instead of like filling out that ballot in a perfunctory way, you should take into account how the laws are going to affect you. So finally, the third law I will talk about is called DACA, and that's deferred action for yeah, that's what it stands for. So basically, okay, here we go. Childhood arrivals, deferred action for childhood arrivals. So it goes along the same lines of these individuals who came from South America or Mexico, and they're in the United States, but they don't have legal residency. So they are able through this law to get a driver's license and to also get a work permit that it's renewable for 2 years. However, if you're over 31, well, it doesn't apply to you. So you see the name childhood arrivals. It applies to people who arrived as children and are now, you know, adults or young adults. So again, they want you to be here before the age of 16. Again, this is a fairly new law. I don't know if you guys heard about it when it passed. It was 2012, right before Obama got reelected. And in my own personal opinion, I think that the reason why he passed this law was to get the Latino vote, because it did impact a lot of Latino youth, and coincidentally, he got reelected. So that's why I think it's really important to kind of like follow up on politics and see how presidents kind of use these certain tactics and things like that to get elected or to gain certain voters. So again, these are just the prerequisites in order to apply for this. They want you to be going to a school. So they want to make sure that you graduated high school and that you don't have like penalties, that you haven't gotten in trouble with the law. And if you do, then you would be lucky enough to be part of the deferred action.
Okay, that's 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So do we just kick her out off? I'm confused.
I'm having trouble with my sight person. Yes. Just go through it all. So these are just images. And yeah, go through it all. I think that's all the time that I have, you guys. I hope that I informed you with laws, and I hope that I persuaded you to kind of get involved. Yeah, go through it all. To get involved in politics, because these laws are super important, and there's plenty of other more that I don't know about. But if you guys do know, then I would love to hear about them. Thank you so much.